damn, it's too much to handle it. Gun, tobacco. All right. Hi there. 100 years ago, pretty precise, 100 years ago, two men entered the forest here in Lower Saxony. They didn't come alone. Everyone brought a second, a wingman, and there was also a doctor. So, and after, I don't know, 2 hours, they left, but under very different circumstances than they came up in the forest. This is a story I want to tell you today, a story about tradition. Tradition and honor. I don't know, might tell us something. I don't know, perhaps tells me something. Let's see that. I don't know if you're interested in that, but anyway, I wanted to do that for quite a while. And there's also tobacco, of course. I brought tobacco. So, gonna talk about tradition. Tradition number 1 was tobacco, done by Vauen. Coming up for a new, 2 months ago thing. Or 3 months even, I don't know. Time is running. Oh, this is incredible. So, first of all, I owe you an apology. I do. So I don't think so there was ever so much time between 2 videos, and that wasn't planned. Be sure of that. So yeah, but just university is going crazy, so you know, I know all the things you did before the pandemic, 101, just talking and getting things done and so on, and seeing people, and yeah, and now everything's done with email. So I get, I don't know, 40, 50 emails a day. Shoot 5 videos a week, but unfortunately not for YTPC, so that's all for the students. So my apology for that. So I read all the comments, and but I really didn't have a second to come back. So this is, I don't know, first 2 hours or something. I just take to do another video, something I wanted to do for quite a while, and then this tobacco came up, and I thought, yeah, let's take the chance to talk about tradition. So, tobacco first, and then I'll tell you a story about 2 noblemen, a story that really happened here in the forest. Alright, let's start with the tobacco, as always. For those of you not interested in the story, I don't know, let me just put that gun aside. So, as always, so you see, this is a wrapper, and this is the original tin. So now you probably already knew this is a cold hazard tobacco. Oh, that's something that cold hazard does. So I'll tell you, this is a wonderful idea, and it's really good tobacco. So first of all, I'll read the description so I can get rid of the wrapper, at least one thing less to handle it. So, wow, I have to translate that, it's in German. Yeah. Take your enjoyment to the level of tradition. Yeah, that's a good idea. So this is an authentic mixture from finest Burley and Virginia. So those two kind of tobaccos I'm doing with, we did that in cube cuts. We added some red Virginia, Ratty Rob, and some golden Virginias. So it's gonna burn very cool and smooth. So that's what they say. I think that's pretty much it. So I could end that here, but so let's start with the tin. Look at the tin. You see that? A beautiful tin. And this is perhaps one of the nicest tins I have seen over the last few years. So really, so I saw some German reviews, and they confessed that they admitted that they bought the tobacco because of the tin. And this is really a beautiful tin. So very traditional. Yeah. Tradition accepted. So, alright. But now, tobacco. What is you can easily see, show you the tobacco, you can easily see, well, this doesn't, I don't know, it looks quite traditional. So, I don't know, what do I mean with that? So, normally you would expect that they add some black Cavendish. That's what they normally do. Well, that's a tradition of its own. So always adding a handful of black Cavendish just for the look. I don't know. I'm not convinced. So, and they don't do that here. And I think that's a good idea. So that is traditional. So if you take a whiff, yeah, this is tobacco. This is tobacco. You can really, you can smell the burley, some of the Virginia, just a little hay note, but it's just very, just discreet, yeah, very discreet. Hay note, perhaps, and there's a little something extra. Well, my guess that's vanilla. I'm not absolutely sure. So company tells us on the website, and I read different descriptions, and some descriptions they even said there's no flavor added, and I'm not sure about that, because company tells us this is mainly, or this is a very natural, that's what they say, this is a very natural tobacco. So if a company tells you this is a very natural tobacco, and they don't tell you this is an all natural tobacco, or there's no flavor added or something like that. If they just tell you this is a very natural tobacco, I guess you can be pretty sure that there's something to it. So, close to natural, but not 100%. But I could be wrong. Well, I can be totally wrong. So, but for me, there's a hint of vanilla or butter or something. But that's, I guess that's good news. I'll tell you why. So, the tobacco comes with a lot of cuts. So there some wild cuts, some cores a bit, but was ready rub, cube cuts, flake parts. I don't know. Perhaps that's even over the top. I don't know. I'm not sure. The more the merrier. That's what they think, perhaps. But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. So the tobacco is easily packed, and it doesn't get nasty or something like that. It burns pretty well, does the job. So, really nice tobacco. And burn, if you light that up, you immediately feel there's a hint of something. So a hint of vanilla butter, I think. Well, it's not bad. And in all other things, the tobacco is pretty much straight down the middle, And this is perhaps, that may be an issue. That may be an issue for you. Perhaps it is for me. So think about it. This tobacco is really, let me just see, 27 euros 50 cents. That's a lot. All right, you get a beautiful tin, and you get a tobacco. Nothing to complain about. Nothing to complain about. The tobacco doesn't get sharp. The tobacco is straight down the middle. It's sweet. It is full enough. Provides really good natural tobacco notes and a little extra. So that's it. But is that really enough for tobacco in this range? And is this really the tradition they're up to? So I'm not sure about that. But I'm not sure. Well, Vauen. If you talk about tradition in Vauen, you mainly think about pipes. But this tobacco is also made by another German company with a long tradition, and that's Kohlhase. We know that Kohlhase, they do in everything. So they have bad tobacco, they have good tobacco, they even have excellent tobacco. Well, it really depends on. Well, it's a company of great knowledge. That's for sure, with a long tradition. So in both companies, when they join, well, you might expect something. All right, they don't do a roll cake or something fancy like that. Perhaps you would have wished a bit more courage. I don't know. Perhaps something with a hint of parade. All right, but don't want to complain, because this tobacco is really good tobacco. Well, it's some kind of golden retriever, something you can't complain about. So, something everybody is gonna like. I don't want to say nobody's gonna hate that, but I don't know, this is something that I think of. A tobacco with character is a tobacco that you could also hate. You could love that, but you could also hate that. Tobacco that doesn't give you the chance to hate the tobacco, yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe that's a lack of character, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, it is good tobacco. You can, yeah, well, get it and just try for yourself. You probably won't be disappointed if you're really looking for I don't know, issues, because for my feeling, you won't find many issues with this tobacco. So, all right. Yeah, that's a tradition in tobacco. And it is traditional tobacco, of course, because it's just Burley in Virginia. What is more traditional than that? Yeah, all right. Perhaps there is. So let me tell you a story. Let me just put away this tin. So let me tell you a story about tradition. And one or two thoughts about tradition in general. Let me learn that. So as I told you, around 100 years ago, two noblemen entered the forest. Wingman on their sides, doctor at hand. So they were up for solving a conflict between two men. And yeah, well, you might already guess. So it's about a woman, of course. So the Lord of Bennigsen, that's a noble family located near Hanover, not far from here. Is an old and very traditional local noble family. This is nothing really, I don't know, a huge family up to the empire or something like that. This is just a local family, a local noble family, but with a tradition for 700 years at least. And they still they still own the property, and there's still noblemen there. And the Lord of Bennigsen had a wife, 20 years younger. And, well, they had several children, had a happy marriage. Well, that's what people say, what witnesses told us. And everything seemed pretty in order, pretty down the middle. So, and then one day, he got a new neighbor. So, Falkenhagen, so another nobleman, Falkenhagen, he bought the property beside his property. And after a while, he became some kind of family friend. He was going in and out in the house and everything. Yeah, and guess what? So, he was 20 years younger, so he was the same age then, pretty much same age then, the lady of Bennigsen. So, things happen. So they came close and so on. And in those days, so that was pretty normal reaction even for husbands like Mr. Bennigsen, the Lord Bennigsen, just to look the other way. So people knew, yeah, well, what could happen and so on. And there wasn't a chance like, I don't know, getting divorced or something. So he preferred to look the other way. Yeah, what? So everyone could have been happy. So perhaps, but society didn't want him to look the other way. So the local society, we're not talking German society or Lower Saxony or whatever, just the local noble society, local noble families around him. They confronted him and they said, well, you know your wife cheated on you. You got to confront them. You got to put an end to that. Yeah, well, so they forced his hand. So he was trying to solve that and to talk to his wife, but she didn't want to. So she just slipped away to her family and stayed with her family for a while. And then they increased pressure on him, and they said, you got to go for the opponent. So you got to confront him. You got to ask him for a duel to make sure, that he doesn't do any harm to your honor. Well, I guess that was already done, I guess, but anyway, so, all right. He didn't really want to, but he did. So he asked Falkenhagen for a duel. Falkenhagen didn't really want to. So now there's a certain point. If you have these two guys and you think about these two guys, you shouldn't think about this, I don't know, very stereotypical, very typical picture you have on two German officers. We have 1920, two German officers, combat, I don't know, with combat training and cold-blooded. No, those were very normal guys. Both of them, very normal guys. And that same goes for Mrs. Bennigsen. So when they showed up later on in court, so all the people reported about her, so all the witnesses, were pretty much like, I don't know, even disappointed. They said, well, we expected some kind of sexy wham or I don't know, man-eater or something like that. But that wasn't the case. So she was a very normal woman in her 30s. Same goes for these two guys. Those were normal guys. And when they showed up in the forest, witnesses, they tell us in their reports that they were both very afraid and very nervous, talking always and I don't know, shaking and so on, very nervous, both of them. Falkenhagen, he tried to avoid the bloodshed, and he tried to get to the Lord of Bennigsen, but the wingmen, they pushed him away and they said, no, it's done, so now we have to go on. We have to do this here. All right, so Falkenhagen, afterwards he said he was really, he really wanted to shoot in the ground or in the air, so he didn't want to point his gun to Bennigsen and shoot him, because he knew that he did something wrong, and he knew that he was the cause for all that, so he didn't want to harm him, the Lord of Bennigsen. I think we could believe that. See, but then when he turned around and he just wanted to shoot in the ground, he saw that the Lord of Bennigsen pointed his gun directly to him. So, and then yeah, that's human nature. He just lifted the gun and tried his luck. So yeah, so both men showed up, loaded the guns, back to back, 15 steps. 15 steps everyone, turning around and then counting 1, 2, 3, and between 2 and 3 you're supposed to fire your shot. So both guys turned around, aimed on each other, and 2 shots, and both missed. So a duel is something with many rules, so you can really have many rules on that to avoid bloodshed. So you could easily say, and that was one of the wingmen, the seconds, asked the Lord of Bennigsen if they should limit the number of shots to 10, and by that you can see, well, that it's very hard to aim with these old Flintstone guns, old Flintstone rifles. So very difficult. So it wasn't an exception that guys fired 10 shots at each other and they all missed. So, but the Lord of Bennigsen, he didn't want to put a limit to that. He said, no, second blood. So that means, well, there's another route. You can go for first scratch and that's done, satisfaction is done. No, he wanted second blood. So that means the doctor had to decide if someone is still capable to go on with the shooting or not. That's the main reason why the doctor is there. Not for the wounded, but just to decide if the duel can go on. So all right, second round. And both guys back to back, 15 feet, turning around, lifting the guns. Shooting at each other, and they both missed. So, here it goes again. Both guys loading the guns, getting more and more nervous, frightened. 15 steps, turning around. Both shots. And the Lord of Bennigsen, he missed. But Falkenhagen, he hit. So, the Lord of Bennigsen crashed down. He was hit in the stomach by a bullet and lost a lot of blood. And Falkenhagen, he threw away his gun. He was upset, so he tried to get to Bennigsen to ask for his forgiveness. He wanted his forgiveness, but they didn't let him. They pushed him away. He was confused, so he ran in the forest for several hours. They were searching for him, and you know, he was totally crashed by that. So they all left the forest after a while, and you have to know that in those days duel was already forbidden by law. Forbidden by law. But tradition was different. Tradition was still asking noble families and noblemen to go for a duel, to search for satisfaction, to restore your honor. So, and that's the point. How did it all end up? The Lord of Bennigsen died, I think 1 or 2 days later. Falkenhagen, he went to prison, I think 6 years. And nobody ever heard of him after that. The Lady of Bennigsen, the unfaithful wife, she was banned. Banned from the family, from both families, even from her own family. She had to work as a nurse. Very poor. And afterwards, she had to work as, I don't know, piano teacher or music teacher or something like that. She never saw her children again. So, 3 people, their lives just wasted. Just for tradition, just to restore the honor, but not the honor of the individuals in this story, but the honor of a certain group of noblemen are asking to fulfill the tradition. And that's the point. So what is the tradition about? And that's, don't get me wrong, this is not against tradition. Tradition is an important thing. But what is this tradition about? And tradition in general. So, the tradition of a duel, where does it come from? What does the tradition of a duel mean? What does it really mean? So we have to go back to the beginning of the tradition, when it wasn't a tradition, but when it was something new. So before the duel, it was usual that 2 families went to war over something like that. An unfaithful wife or something. Families went to war with dozens of dead guys and women even, or perhaps even hundreds of family members dead afterwards. And really hard to find an end of that. So they thought it might be good to avoid some bloodshed. So let's bring that down, melt it down, just to the 2 guys affected by that. So let them solve their problems, and not to bring in the whole family. And that was what the tradition, the duel tradition, was really about. To avoid bloodshed. It was a tradition about avoiding bloodshed. And what did they do, the Bennigsen and the Falkenhagen, in the 1920s? They exactly did it the other way around. So they spilled a lot of blood. So that was a bloodshed, unnecessary bloodshed, because there were already new rules and, well, new traditions even. So that was unnecessary. So under the skin of tradition, the idea of that tradition, they cheated on the idea, on the original idea, what this tradition was really about. And that was avoiding unnecessary bloodshed, because that's what the tradition of a duel is about. And that was just my point for today. Well, I know that's a long story. I don't know. So I don't know if that tells you something or whatever. So, but I don't know. I thought about that when I heard the story. When I first heard the story of the Lord of Bennigsen and the duel in the forest. I was thinking about that. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Here from the forests of Low Saxony. Perhaps you think about tradition. I don't know, there's so many traditions. Family tradition. traditions we share as a nation or as human beings. And what are these traditions about? What do they really tell us? And that's the real tradition, not what it looks like. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna be eaten by mosquitoes if I don't leave here. So perhaps you give tradition a shot. Perhaps even Vauen tradition, if you can get it. If not, just give Ronnie an email. Gonna send the stuff to you. And perhaps they're coming up with another tradition next year. See, because that's tradition number 1. I think I forgot to mention that. Anyway, guys, hope you all are well. Hope it's not gonna be too long for the next video. I'm really trying my best. I'm trying my best. That's a promise. Alright, guys. Hope you all are well. So, take care, everyone. Perhaps see you again.